is not easy. One of my childhood memories is sneaking to my grandma's room and then checking out colorful, fancy metal boxes. She kept in them letters from my grandfather, who died during World War II, some of jewelries, and also sometimes chocolate that was meant for holidays, or at least she thought so. These boxes had this mysterious sign on them, Ceylon tea. I grew up drinking Sri Lankan tea. Thanks to that, I have developed this applause to the tea. Thanks to that, I have developed a deep affection for this beverage. 3 decades or so fast forward, and I was given this unique opportunity around 2008 to lead World Bank's energy program in Sri Lanka. So as I was traveling throughout the country, the most vivid image I have in my memory is serene tea plantation hills with the waterfall in the backdrop, very much like we saw it a minute ago during the award. I fell in love with the country. So when a few months ago, I was invited to apply for the job to head World Bank and IFC in Sri Lanka, I didn't hesitate. Ladies and gentlemen, I am truly honored to be here today to attend this 25th annual general meeting of the Tea Export Association. I am grateful to the leadership of tea for extending graciously this invitation to address this esteemed audience. I actually arrived only a couple of weeks ago, even though my appointment was earlier. So this is literally one of my first public engagements. So I'm truly honored. You know, Ceylon tea is celebrated as one of the finest in the world. With a rich history spanning across over 150 years, the Sri Lankan tea industry has emerged to be both an important economic pillar and a source of national pride. Today, Sri Lanka is the world's 3rd largest tea exporter, thanks to all this group here, with tea exports accounting for about 11% of total export and about 62% of the agricultural export. The $1.2 billion industry also provides livelihood to nearly 1 million people through direct and indirect employment. However, this celebrated industry has faced considerable challenges over the recent past, from climate change to policy inconsistencies to economic turbulence and global market competition. The industry has been increasingly under threat on many fronts. So what affects the sustainability of the industry? First, climate change and environmental threats. We are all aware that climate change is the defining crisis of our time, and it is happening even more quickly than we feared. Quoting the UN Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, "We are living through climate collapse in real time, and the impact is devastating." Globally, agriculture plays a large part in driving a triple planetary crisis: biodiversity loss, climate change, and pollution. Like many other agricultural crops, climate change is both a present and future threat to tea production across the globe. Recent research suggests that the optimal suitability of tea growing regions in Sri Lanka will decline by nearly 30% by 2070. Other countries like Kenya and China are facing very similar threats. Tea has an historical impact on deforestation of tropical areas, use of chemicals, pesticides, and fertilizers that harm soil and water bodies, all of which adds to climate change. As the impacts of climate change intensify, it also has adverse implications on the job stability and security of workers as well. These aren't future impacts, they are already being felt today. Second, sustainability of the tea industry is more than about producing tea in a way that is environmentally responsible. It is also about being socially just. Ceylon tea remains a global brand because of the wonderfully resilient people of the industry. But as a highly labor-intensive sector, it is an industry that often faces multiple social issues. Labor shortages, inadequate earnings, and unsafe working environments have significantly impacted the production and sustainability of the industry. Like many agricultural industries, the tea sector relies on a female workforce. Most tea pluckers, often the lowest paid and most labor-intensive role, are women, while men typically hold higher paid supervisory positions, highlighting wider gender disparities across the industry. Lack of interest by youth in joining the workforce is also an emerging challenge. Third and final, economic shocks and associated policy uncertainty. And you already spoke about that, both the previous chairman and the current chairman referred to some of them. Sri Lanka is re-emerging from an unprecedented macroeconomic crisis at present. You all remember, of course, that in 2022, the economy contrasted by 7.3% while inflation peaked at 69%. The rupee depreciated by 81% against the US dollar in the same year. While hard-won policy measures have helped towards the country's better than expected economic stabilization, very much thanks to the incredible leadership of some of the individuals who are also in this room, particularly the chairman of the central bank, vulnerabilities persist. The path to full recovery is narrow and will require sustained efforts to ensure long-term macroeconomic and financial sector stability, reduction of cost of doing business, elimination of trade barriers, and investment in enabling infrastructure. The extreme challenges in 2022 affected jobs and productivity of a number of industries. The tea industry wasn't in no way spared, with exports falling significantly. Considering that tea is the main agricultural export crop for Sri Lanka, improved yields and productivity in the sector can support an increase in overall exports, which will contribute to medium-term economic growth, as well as enhanced living standards for households so much depending on the tea sector. Increases in overall exports in recent months have already contributed to improvement in external balances. Just this year, in the 9 months or 7 months, exports grew around 5.5% year on year so far. The sustainability of Sri Lanka's tea industry is a multifaceted challenge, but one that we are well equipped to address. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach, but about enhancing growth across the entire ecosystem. To address challenges, improve sustainability, and build resilience, all industry stakeholders must come together. While the government and regulatory bodies can support consistent reforms and policies, the private sector has a crucial role to revitalize the economy and in the industry. On the climate and environmental front, recognizing the footprint of tea cultivation is critical for sustainable and resilient growth. As we look to the future, it is critical that we adopt more environmentally sustainable methods. Climate-smart agriculture, reforestation, and biodiversity practices come to mind are several key climate mitigation and adaptation strategies. By adopting regenerative practices such as agroforestry, promoting organic farming, and reducing chemical inputs, we can enhance soil health and protect our water systems, ensuring that future generations can continue benefiting from this vital industry. While I'm sure that most in the room have already taken lead on some of these practices, it is so important to continue and also comply with global sustainability standards. On the social aspect, creating an enabling environment for an inclusive, gender-sensitive value chain can spur sustainable growth of the industry. Initiatives to set up a mechanism to develop a skilled labor pool at the regional level with the support of tea industry stakeholders, as well as private sector, can help address severe labor shortage. Skills development, vocational trainings, and attractive incentive packages should form an integral part of this. Access to finance is fundamental for any business to sustain, thrive, and so does for the growth of the industry. 75% of Ceylon tea producers, as you know, depend on more than 400,000 tea smallholders. And for majority of them, access to financing is limited, hindering growth. This may impede the ability to invest in innovative technology and infrastructure to improve productivity and efficiency of the supply chain. Partnerships with financial institutions to provide tailored financing instruments, such as risk-sharing facility and competitive loans, could foster the growth. Providing financial literacy training can also help in alleviating the risk of over-indebtedness from informal lenders. While all these aspects impact the sustainability of the industry, consumer value too is critical. Today's consumers, especially the young generation, deeply care about sustainability. They are aware of the role of the supply chain, including who is involved, how much they are paid, and the different social issues that exist. This generation is also extremely conscious of the brands that associate with and seek out companies that reflect their values, with digital solutions such as geotagging and blockchains helping to differentiate between products. They are driven to purchase products and even pay a premium if the message resonates with them and they feel connected, whether it's diversity, inclusivity, wellness, or sustainability. Keeping these demographics in mind can positively shape the next era of the tea culture. As Sri Lanka moves toward a resilient recovery of the economy, revitalizing the tea industry is a crucial step for economic growth. With the ever-evolving global tea industry, the country must stay abreast of the changes to remain competitive and relevant. Sri Lanka can leverage this opportunity by diversifying its tea offerings and improving marketing strategies to capture new markets. For 150 years, the tea industry has ensured its survival through turbulence, industry change, and transformation while preserving the identity as a universally loved beverage. The future of Sri Lankan tea industry depends largely on the quality and reputation of tea, and not so much quantity. To ensure the continued success and sustainability of the unique brand, it is essential for all stakeholders to unite in this effort. With your commitment, we can ensure that Ceylon tea not only thrives but also contributes meaningfully to sustainable and prosperous future for the entire country. I very much hope that during my tenure in Sri Lanka, World Bank Group will make its first investment in the tea industry. Sri Lanka is blessed with a crop that is famed for its outstanding quality and superior unparalleled taste. So let's continue to share the distinct flavors of the Ceylon tea with the world. The finest cup of tea is guaranteed. Thank you so much for this opportunity.